Why East Africa is the fastest growing region in Africa. 3 of the top 5 fastest growing economies in Africa are located in East Africa. Rwanda with 8.7% growth, Ethiopia with 7.4%, and Tanzania 6.8% growth. In comparison, economic growth in the entire continent was recorded at 3.4%, with East Africa's average growth estimated at 5% in the same period. Oh, did I mention that the region is also home to 3 of the top 10 fastest growing economies in the world? Keep in mind that East Africa does not host the largest share of Africa's wealth. Of the big 5 economies in Africa, Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa, none is based in the East. East Africa contributes less than 20% to Africa's overall GDP. What are countries in East Africa doing differently from other regions that seem to have more potential? We know that East Africa is famous for some of the most beautiful wildlife in the world, and that the area is also home to Africa's tallest mountain. But this doesn't answer the question of why this region is dominating. Well, today we'll find out why East Africa has the fastest growing economy in Africa. If you are new here, you're welcome. Consider subscribing to After School Africa to continue exploring opportunities. 1. Investment expenditure. East Africa is one huge construction site with billions of dollars being poured into infrastructure projects across the region. Some of the biggest infrastructure projects currently ongoing in Africa are in East Africa. Work is currently ongoing in Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam. Work on the 6,000 megawatt dam began in 2011 and is now 70% complete, way behind the July 2017 completion date. When completed, the $4.8 billion project will be the largest hydroelectric dam in Africa. Kenya is also constructing a 1,000-kilometer standard gauge rail to connect Mombasa to Malaba at a staggering cost of $9.9 billion. Tanzania is also not left out, as it has embarked on the construction of an $11 billion megaport at the Swahili historical town of Bagamoyo as it races to become a regional economic powerhouse. Economists predict the region's economy will continue flourishing in the medium term because of the infrastructure projects. 2. Stable political climate. With the exception of Somalia, which is engulfed in a civil war, the rest of the region enjoys relatively political stability. Ethiopia recently signed a peace deal with neighboring Eritrea, ending a conflict which has lasted for decades. Kenya and Tanzania and Rwanda all enjoy a peaceful political climate. A stable political climate is a panacea for investment and growth, as investors want to be assured of their safety and that of their investments. Kenya is particularly expected to grow even faster, given its peaceful political climate. 3. Ease of doing business. Of the 10 countries with the most ease of doing business in Africa, 3 are in East Africa. Rwanda is ranked as the second easiest place to do business in Africa, with Kenya coming 4th and Seychelles coming 10th. The Ease of Doing Business Index is meant to measure regulations directly affecting businesses and does not directly measure more general conditions such as nations' proximity to large markets, quality of infrastructure, inflation, or crime. Rwanda has made the task of registering goods easier by using online services that facilitate the registration of property transfers. The country has an effective land registry that takes 7 days to transfer the property, and it costs 0.1% of the property value. On this indicator, Rwanda is now ranked 2nd in the world. In Kenya, paying taxes has been moved online to assist businesses pay their taxes faster. This provides people with the opportunity to fill in and pay corporate income taxes online. Instead of moving from one place to another to collect different documents, the country has also started a company that offers a single window. This decreases the amount of time that it takes to collect necessary documents. 4. Net exports. East Africa is an export-driven region, and most of their exports are agricultural produces. Ethiopia is Africa's largest exporter of coffee and its 2nd largest exporter of flowers. Kenya is Africa's largest exporter of flowers, earning over $500 million in 2018. Rwanda also exports a sizable amount of coffee, tea, and tin. With exports that are rarely susceptible to price fluctuations unlike commodities, East Africa's economy seems set on a solid rock. Tanzania also exports a significant amount of tobacco and coffee. Besides the exports, there have also been efforts by government in the region to encourage local production at home. In Rwanda, for instance, the government adopted a Made in Rwanda strategy in 2016, which has reduced the trade deficit by about 36%. It also increased the value of total exports by about 69% from about $558 million to $943 million. Local producers have fast become empowered to produce for the local and export market. 5. Diversified economy. The economy of the East African region is almost as diverse as the countries in it. While larger economies in the region like Kenya and Tanzania have their economies dependent on agriculture and tourism, South Sudan's economy is totally dependent on oil. Rwanda's economy is built around agriculture and services. The economy of Seychelles is built on fishing and tourism. Each country in the region has a diverse economy powered by different products, commodities, and services. This has made the region a goldmine for investors. Another sector which East Africa is seeking to dominate is a tech hub. Kenya already has 50 tech hubs, the fourth highest in Africa. Rwanda is also fighting to have a share of the tech economy in Africa. Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, is already turning into a regional tech hub for East Africa, hosting events like the Africa Tech Summit and the GSMA Mobile 360 Africa. Despite this positive points, East Africa's strong growth has not been matched by commensurate and significant reduction in poverty and inequality. The region remains characterized by high poverty, inequality, and unemployment rates, but it is making significant progress compared to other regions. For instance, while East Africa has 33.3% of its population living at or below $1.90 a day and 55.3% at $3.10 a day, the Sub-Saharan Africa average is 42.1% and 66.3% respectively. The region is projected to grow by 5% in 2020, far higher than the growth projections for the continent at 4%. Perhaps it's only a matter of time before the likes of Kenya and Tanzania begin to compete with the big five countries in Africa if the big boys don't wake up from slumber. What are your thoughts about these economic indicators in East Africa? If you are from an East African country, do you agree with what the world is saying about your region, or is it different from your reality? Please share with us in the comment section. If you're yet to subscribe to After School Africa, now is a good time to hit the subscribe button. Until next time, your success matters.